Hey, welcome back to another Doujinshi review from White Album 2. Now today's, I think, is especially cool because it is very, very unique. So this is going to be a novel-style doujinshi from White Album 2, but it details a character that I've never seen in any other work, which is very, very cool. So let's go ahead and take a look. Now, technically, this girl is in White Album 2, but you probably don't recognize her. So this character is one of the background characters when you're riding the train. So this entire novel, it's derivative from White Album 2, but it's about this random background character on the train. So this story is called Love Story Sandwiched Between Bookmarks. And then if you look closely here in this bottom corner, White Album 2, this is the train girl route. So not the Setsuna route, not the Kazusa route, this is the train girl route, which I think is the cutest, most creative thing. It is adorable. This was written by Ushineko. It's not that long a read. It's a shorter, kind of a short story here, a short side story. So the premise, well, let's go ahead and take a look. So basically, love story sandwiched between bookmarks. Now, the premise here is that this train girl does not like her life. She's kind of depressed. She's a very meek woman who is always has her face buried in a book. She just loves, loves, loves reading. And throws herself into it. She says a year can go by in the blink of an eye when you're reading books. You don't have to worry about your life or anyone else's life. You can just dive into the lives of others, which is painfully, painfully true, unfortunately. So it jumps into here, and it does note she notices Haruki on the train at many times. She notices him. She's seen him with Setsuna, she's seen him with Kazusa, and she notices that for 3 long years, she doesn't see Kazusa on that train anymore. And she wonders, oh, did something happen? So then it comes to Christmas Eve. And the horrible scene between Setsuna and Haruki happens. She calls him a liar a whole bunch of times and sends him out. And so Haruki is riding that train home extremely upset, extremely depressed, and Train Girl notices. And for whatever reason, 2 star-crossed lovers, what have you, she decides to talk to him and try to cheer him up, and it doesn't really work. She touches him and he's freezing cold. Is kind of the kicker to this relationship. He's freezing cold, so she decides, hey, like, why don't you come back to my house and warm up? And it just sounds so weird saying it out loud. But that's the summary of how this gets started. And they end up going to her house, and Haruki's like, are you sure you want to let me in? Like, I'm a stranger. This is weird. You're living alone. But she insists, and they end up getting together. This is an adult work. But yeah, he tries to mend his heart through the train girl, which I think is fascinating because after that event happens on Christmas Eve, Haruki is desperate to not be alone, to be with someone. And then the game gives you options depending on the choices you chose. Do you want to go see Mari-san? Do you want to go see Chiaki? So I guess this artist, Ushineko, was like, well, what if Haruki went with Train Girl? Which I love. It's just so unique. And they did include a nice image of Kazusa in the end here. Business attire with the glasses. And that's about it as far as this derivative work goes. I love the creativity of this. I love that this tiny little, hey, what if I wrote a story about this background character? That idea is just very neat. So I really respect Ushineko for that. They say they were really inspired by another author, Frozen Mikan, for this story. So it's interesting to see how the authors kind of cross over and connect in that sense. This came out in 2017, New Year's Eve. So it's one of the newer novels. Maybe that's why he included Train Girl, because a lot of the other concepts were already finished. But I digress. So here we have the credits. So you can find Ushineko on Twitter. And then the illustrator, you can find on Twitter, the illustrator of the front page. They have Pixiv or their homepage, also Tumblr, which you don't see very often with Japanese fan authors and fan artists. But yeah, this one happens to have one. And then that is the end. The Train Girl route. So I love this. I think anyone should have this in their collection just because of how unique it is. It's just a really cool concept. And now, forever, whenever I play through White Album, I'm going to look in the background and be like, oh, there's Train Girl. So I hope you will now do the same. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me on this doujinshi review from White Album 2. I look forward to doing more doujin reviews in the future, so until then, I hope you take care. See you!